Getting a little tired of sitting in this chair. This is like hour 4 of me sitting in this chair today. Poor bottom. Hey everyone, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steven. This is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast.
You got them all that time.
This time.
Yeah.
I was just a little rusty and excited last time.
You know what? We've technically
coming down off of a coffee high, which is always rough.
Last episode was our first episode back in the garage in what, like a month or something like that? Like, because we went to Sweetwater, we recorded a bunch of episodes there. And now we're back, baby. We're back in the garage. This is the second episode of our session here tonight. And we're just, you know, we're dusting off the old podcast rig and finding our sea legs again. But anyways, we've got an ad here from Stephen Mortiboys. Mortiboys?
Mortiboys. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Mortiboys. Morty Boys. From Steve Morty Boys. He sent this ad, and this thing is wild.
This is an Urbanet Crackpot spinning plush modded electric guitar. So this is doing like the ZZ top thing.
Yeah. There's actually a little video that I included in here. Oh, you found it. There you go, spinning it around. Look at him go. I have to admit, that does look like a good time. I do want to spin our guitar around like that on stage. Maybe not a Les Paul style guitar because the headstock could snap off at any moment.
So the strap is connected to
the turntable
like
thing.
Turntable thing.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Wild. And what is this?
That
some kind of like
is wrapped in fur. We didn't even mention that. This whole thing looks like a Muppet. The fact that it doesn't have Muppet eyes for the knobs is a disaster. Like, that's the biggest problem I have with this thing. It's also really unique fur.
The fur has a little pocket, so if you use a wireless...
I know.
Well, why would you want to do it that way?
You have to use a wireless because you can't spin it and leave it plugged in.
Oh, that's really smart.
Yeah, that's the reason why. Because otherwise you'd get this cable tied up in your Lazy Susan situation that's pressed against your belly.
All right.
It's clever.
So what is this? Is this like a groat? This looks like a groat.
It looks groaty, or it might be like a Harley.
Grody?
It might be a Harley Benton or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's some sort of, $300 Les Paul shaped object that they've wrapped in fur. It looks like fried chicken. The texture of the fur from a distance, it looks like this perfectly crispy piece.
Here's what I can tell you, Ryan.
Fried chicken.
This is not fried chicken, and you want to know why?
Why?
Because this is in Franklin, Tennessee. So it's the wrong color for Nashville chicken.
Right. It would have to be bright, dark red. Yeah. Bright and dark red. All at the same time.
That is such a great description of Nashville the color of Nashville hot chicken.
Because it is like intensely red, but it's also dark with red, right?
It's like a color that it doesn't make sense to describe, but clearly
it is.
That's what it is.
Flashing, warning red, but then just dark with red, like blood red, but also like the most electric red you've ever seen on food in your life.
I think we should film.
Okay, let's film right now.
I think we should do. I don't know. I've been watching a lot of hot ones lately. I want to do one of those. Apparently,
you want to do one of those?
Apparently.
Get in the frame, Steve. Look at you. What you do is you hold onto the side of the table and you pull yourself over. Yeah, it's your safety corner over there.
Supposedly, according to the internet, we're
talking about chicken now.
That Buffalo Wild Wings we had, the hottest wing, was like a 300,000 Scoville.
Once you start getting up there, like
it's all the same.
It's all like, how do you even measure that stuff? I mean, I got 3 bottles in the fridge of really, really hot stuff. If you want to go grab one and go on an adventure right now, you want to live the wild life, Steve? No. Go get yourself the bomb. It's in there. It's in the fridge.
Well, everyone hates the bomb. No one likes. Do you like the
The
bomb?
Apollo sauce is really good. It's
Do you
really
like
hot.
the bomb?
It's torture.
Yeah,
It's rough.
Even the people who are on the show,
Right.
like there have been a handful. Lord is one of them. Jenna Ortega is one of them who like are just seem impervious. Like Jenna Ortega was actually kind of boring when she was on Hot Ones because she was just completely unfazed
Right.
the entire time.
And we're talking about a spicy food YouTube channel now. Part of me is like, is that just actors showing off their acting chops? They're like, I can go in and I can act like I'm unfazed because I'm an actor.
Maybe.
I think that's what it is.
Lord's not an actor though. Lord is a singer.
Sure, but maybe she just likes spicy food.
Yeah. The point is that all of those people even like they have the bomb and they're the bomb, right?
Right.
And they're like, that was gross. Why would anyone eat this?
No, well, that's what happens anytime. Like not anytime, but a lot of times you push into the super intense heat. It's just all extract, and it just tastes like it tastes bad. It tastes like a chemical. It doesn't taste like food anymore. Like we've got a hot chicken place here called Dave's, and the extra hot, the hottest variation. Yeah, it's hitting the heat level,
but it's not good.
But it's not good.
I've never. Okay,
it is not tasty.
Good to know.
Yeah, it cross like the hot level is good. But it crosses this barrier getting into the intense extra hot or whatever. It's like, no, it's not, it doesn't taste good anymore. You know, it's got the heat, but it's not yummy. But anyways, we've got a spinning furry guitar here.
$600.
Man, you're paying for the gimmick. I don't know.
$600.
I want
probably a Harley Benton.
I want to spin a guitar. You know that this is like 10 hours of work to wrap a guitar in fur.
No, that's fair.
So it's like, if you want this, if you're trying to do the ZZ Top thing, $600 is probably your cheapest dollar and time investment possible to get into trying this. So I don't know, like, yeah, it's probably a $300 guitar in there. You're not paying for the guitar. You're paying for the experience of having a guitar spin around like crazy, which sounds like a lot of fun. Honestly, it's a really cool stage gimmick. I kind of like, I wish this was two separate guitars, like one gimmick per guitar, please. A spinning guitar and a fuzzy guitar, not a fuzzy guitar that is a spinning guitar. Unless you have a Muppets band. If you've got a Muppets themed band, like this is it.
You have a Muppets themed band.
But also, like, maybe the pictures don't really show the color well. It's kind of like a golden shag carpet kind of color. I wish it was a more fun color. I wish it was like Muppet colors, like bright blue, or like if it's going to be yellow, like a neon yellow, like just full saturation yellow. It's a bit of a dingy yellow.
That's a Harley Benton headstock.
Yeah. Well, Harley Benton headstocks, there's other brands that do similar headstocks.
Well, do they do the logo? That's like a Harley Benton diamond.
Okay. Well, then it's a Harley Benton. All right. I mean,
maybe other companies knock that off.
I think you'd be surprised. I think there's probably a bunch of brands doing that same sort of thing. But
I want to know, is this like
is that an off the shelf part? You know,
is this like a drum seat? Like they like chopped up a drum seat to make this work? Like how does this work?
All right, let's see what happens if we Google guitar spinner.
I'm sure there's a lot of ways to do it, but what is this way to do it? You know what it looks like? It looks like a military canteen. Or not a military canteen, like a camping canteen.
It kind of does.
With the straps on the side and everything.
I'm getting a lot of results for fidget spinners being used to play guitar. Yeah, I have no idea if this is an off-the-shelf guitar product. I have a feeling it is a repurposed like Harbor Freight thing.
Yeah.
That they've bolted to the back of a guitar, but maybe not. Maybe it is an official thing. Who knows?
It's actually a buffer. It's a buffing wheel.
Yeah.
That they've just coated in this stuff.
Be a Lazy Susan that they wrapped in foam and fur and stuff like that. The way that it has the metal clasps on the side makes me think it's not an official product.
No.
It looks like a Home Depot build sort of situation.
I think this whole thing is somebody had an idea. That's why I said like maybe it's like a drum throne or something.
It looks for a fur-wrapped guitar that has a spinner on the back, it looks fairly well done. I think the addition of the little patch of pubes on the headstock is probably my least favorite part, but I kind of get it.
That is a description.
Yeah, it's just a little patch up there on the headstock.
It's a little merkin.
Yeah, there's a little merkin on the headstock. Absolutely. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think it's fun. I think it's something to talk about. That's for sure. I kind of wish they'd put the pocket for the wireless unit somewhere else. Almost like put a compartment in the back.
Right.
For the wireless.
The back seems like an obvious place to do it because you already have to like gap out anyway for like the spinny part.
Like I'm saying like cut wood out and then have a little Velcro thing that goes over and you just hide it in there, you know?
Gotcha.
Cause that pouch underneath the lower horn there, it kind of messes up the outline of the guitar. It's a little bit visually distracting to me. I wish it wasn't there.
Honestly, and looking at it from the front, I don't think I would have noticed it.
Maybe it was an afterthought. Maybe like, oh shoot, we can't plug this in and spin it. Now I've got to sew this little pocket here or something like that. I just feel like there would have been a better place to put it.
Yeah, you shave a spot and then you can just Velcro it onto the back. You don't even necessarily need to cut into the wood.
It's a wireless plug. Why are they doing the extra steps here to put a cable on it? Just leave it plugged into the guitar.
That's true.
Out of the output jack. I think they're overcomplicating the situation here with this wireless dongle sort of thing. All right. $600 they wanted for it.
Yes.
I can't tell you no, but I'm definitely not going to say go get it right away. Like you got to figure that out for yourself. What do you guys think? Down in the comment section, let us know what you think this guitar is actually worth.
And tell us what the first song you would play on this guitar is.
Right. I wish one would come to me, but I have no suggestions.
Round and Round, Rat.
Ah, there you go.
Hanging Around.
Yeah.
Counting Crows.
You spin me right round, baby, right round,
like a record, one.
Baby.
Also, Round Here, Counting Crows.
Come on, baby, do the twist. Like you twist with it. Like, is that a technical twist?
Hokey Pokey.
Hokey Pokey.
Something like that.
You don't need to do spinning or twisting themed songs. Just the spectacle of like, you play a part and like woo woo and it comes back and lands in your hand in between parts and stuff. Like that's a good stage gimmick. I'm signing off on that.
Well, it doesn't have to be a themed song. I want to know what they would play. I'm just saying.
I know.
If I was a good guitar player, I would play Round and Round, but I'm not, so I won't.
It can't
but I
be
would.
that hard.
It probably isn't.
It's probably 3 chords as the base of it, and then there's a shreddy lead part that is hard to do.
You know what song would be really fun to play on this guitar?
What?
Is
yeah, it's got to be a chuggy thing.
The Ghostbusters theme, I've Got a New Drug. That'd be a really cool
yeah. I love the Ghostbusters theme. I've got a new drug. Yeah. I've got a new ghost. All right, should we keep moving?
Yeah, this is a part of the show where we talk about housekeeping.
Let's sweep up in here.
Yeah, if you want to help support the production of this program and other things here on the channel, head on over to patreon.com/60cyclehumcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you can contribute
as many as
to
$1 million a month.
That would be a lot.
Imagine. Send it to us directly.
I can't
help us skip the fees.
Okay, let me think about this. If somebody sent us $1 million on Patreon,
a month.
No, just $1 million.
Okay.
And then Patreon is going to take their cut. What's their cut? Like 30%?
I don't know if it's that high, but it's not free.
It's
not free.
I think it's like 10%.
Yeah. And then the taxman's going to come for us.
Yeah. And then we're going to split that with the 60 cycle hum fund. So I could pay off like half of my mortgage at the end of this whole. That's what I was trying to figure out.
I think I could pay off my house.
Okay.
I could pay off. You send us $1 million, I'm going to pay off my house.
Nice. I'll pay off half my house.
Yeah, there we go.
Because I only got my house like a year ago, so I got a lot more.
I got my house bottom of the market, baby. I'm what's called new rich, people who just spent their money 10 years ago.
But yeah, you can help make this. Legitimately, what it does is it funds some fun projects for videos, like the TC Electronic, what's that, 65?
The Combo Deluxe 65.
Combo Deluxe 65.
I also use Patreon money to buy the SX. You can't even see it. I'm in the way. There it is back there. It's hanging right behind me. The Liquid is the model. That series of videos was funded by the Patreons. Yep. I'm going to get some affordable pedals next.
Neat.
With Patreon money. Maybe I've already done it by the time this airs.
Yeah, we're recording this like
3 weeks
ahead of time.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
So that's that. I guess that's all I got to say about that.
That's all we got
That's
now.
all I have to say about that.
When will this episode air? Will it be August?
I don't know, man.
We'll
figure it out later.
It'll be end of July or early August or something like that. Who knows? It'll be hot. It's warm right now, but it'll be hot.
Yep.
When this airs. Just saying.
But
we already had that conversation last week.
We did. Yeah. It's still going to be hot.
5 inches from the midday sun.
This episode is brought to y'all by a few different brands. One of those brands is Under My Roof.
Under My Roof. Steve, tell us about Under My Roof.
It's a big app. It does a lot of things.
Big app.
It's an app for your phone. Unfortunately, only available on iOS at this point. iPhone, iPad, and Mac available in Apple's App Store and the Mac app. You can just go to undermyroof.app.
Does your mobile device have one of these things on it? Then this sponsor's for you.
But you can do a lot of things. You can build an inventory of all the important items in your home, including your guitar collection, photos, receipts, serial numbers, so on. So it acts as a safety. It's putting it all in one place. If you're in the Apple verse, for lack of a better term, like you can, I believe, share between all your devices on the same app through iCloud.
It's an app for keeping track of all your stuff and keeping all your stuff updated. Like we were saying last episode, like, hey, you've got, 15 guitars in your collection. You can keep track of the last time you changed strings on each one of them. And like, oh, I changed strings on this date. Oh, I adjusted a truss rod on this date. Oh, I swapped pickups on this date. And these were the old pickups. And these are the new pickups.
The pickups thing would be really useful because like I have at least 3 guitars that have aftermarket pickups in them. And at this point, like I did the work so long ago that I don't actually remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
The Jax thing I know has a JB in it, but I don't know where my Fender or my Seymour Duncan SSL1 is. I think it's in my Telecaster. And then the Les Paul, I opened it up once. And so I know that they're some kind of Seymour Duncan, but I don't know which ones. So those are all things that I should have written down. And if I had this app, I could have just put that information there. You can put all kinds of collections in here, though. It's pretty cool.
You can keep track of your pantry.
Yeah, you can.
Hey, do I have a chicken noodle soup downstairs in the pantry? I don't have to go downstairs to check. I'll just check my app.
Yeah, we're running low. Maybe you always want to have a stock.
When was the last time I bought milk? How old is my milk?
Mm-hmm. That's got an expiry date on it. But
you have to really stay on top of it. You have to keep updating all the information.
How many records do you own?
How many records do you own?
You can keep track of what records you have. You can keep track of all kinds of stuff.
Pedals.
Yeah.
Cables.
DVDs.
You want to keep track of all your cables?
Where'd you buy your couch? Buy your couch, you take a picture of the receipt, you're done. You don't have to think about it anymore.
Hey, how many picks do I have? Every time you get a new pick, you add it into your inventory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check it out. It's undermyroof.app. It's super useful. You can try it just to get a feel for it for up to 10 items.
I think we should keep this sponsorship going at least 10 or 15 more minutes. Just keep talking about it.
I mean, I was trying to finish. But if you want to keep talking,
let's talk about other stuff. You got pets. Like I got a bunch of goldfish. I probably got 30, 40 goldfish. I should.
You could do inventory on all the goldfish.
Yeah.
A big feature I mentioned, the iCloud thing, is they're committed to privacy, so they're not getting any of your data. That stays between you and whoever has access to your iCloud.
You know that you have all this stuff. They don't know that you have all this stuff.
Yeah. So
yeah,
check it out. It's pretty affordable. Honestly, it's $25 a year if you decide to go all in.
I mean,
you can try it out.
If you absolutely definitely need to keep track of all the stuff in your life, $25 a year, that's like $2 a month or whatever.
It's like $2. I think it's $2.08 is what it works out.
I did that math in my head.
Good job.
Yeah. It's late at night and I did that and it's hot. So
this episode
just
is
saying,
also
I'm a genius.
brought to you by String Joy, manufacturer of Oops All G Strings.
If you want to order a set just like this, then you're wrong. You shouldn't do that. I am going to be putting this set on my Les Paul at some point in the near future. I might have already done it. I can't wait to hear what it sounds like. I can't wait to feel it. I can't wait to play it. I can't wait to just laugh and laugh and laugh because ittle be the stupidest thing I've ever done.
Here's what I'm going to say.
Say it, Steve.
If you have a little bit of just fun money, buy yourself a set of Oops All G String.
You know what? Try to outdo me. Get yourself an all set of Oops All D strings or Oops All E strings. There's a wild weekend for you.
E strings.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Heavy. Not the bright, skinny little E's. I'm talking about the fat, thick E's.
Thick E's.
Yeah, the thick E's.
All right.
Yeah. I'm talking about thick with 6 E's.
Oh my goodness.
Thick.
All right. This next
Go over to Stringjoy, check out their custom set builder.
Oh yeah.
You can build any kind of wild and ridiculous set that you want, even though it's not a smart thing to do. Don't do this. Don't do this.
The link in the description is tracking, and if you use code HUM at checkout, you'll get 10% off.
And we'll get a little money too because it's an affiliate link.
All right.
So thank you.
This next ad was sent by what?
By what?
I don't know how to pronounce this.
Oh yeah, this is I had a tough time typing this name.
I think it's Sheedy and Shetty.
Nishnidi?
I think the case.
Shetty.
I'm going to say the case. This is a Epiphone SC450 model, also known as the Scroll model. This is a Japanese-made Epiphone made in the Matsumoku factory during the second part of the 70s, namely from 76 to 79. The previous owner had the body of this guitar recut and revarnished, giving it a unique look. That's not the pick.
I
know. What I just read was the previous owner had the body of this guitar recut and revarnished, ruining the guitar.
What were they going for here? You know what it kind of looks like? It kind of looks like one of the wooden crests that you'd put.
You know what it
deer
looks like?
on.
Is it looks like the HS? What was it? HS Anderson Apple guitar that they had at Sweetwater.
Oh yeah, it kind of does, huh?
Yeah, it's like a mini Alembic sort of a thing. You know what? Honestly, the shape isn't bad. I just think the Scroll is very superior.
The Scroll was so much better. The Scroll was so much better than this.
Maybe part of
whoever did this is the same person who's out there mangling all the Mustangs in the 70s and the 80s. Like, I
trimmed all of the German carve off.
I get not wanting that big flamboyant upper horn scroll that is on the Epiphone Scroll. I can wrap my head around that. I can wrap my head around someone saying, you know what, this is a little bit too much for me. It's a little bit too flamboyant. Let's reshape that top horn and just make it a double cut. I could totally see someone remaking this into a double cut. But neutering both horns, the upper and the lower, like the point shape at the bottom there, like it is what it is. Like it doesn't really bother me that much. I guess I would have preferred the original shape. I guess I see what they were going for now. Oh, it just hurts my heart that they deface such an already unique and interesting guitar to be something that it just looks like a
they've made it
weird smashed up tulip.
They've made it more unique.
Yeah, but I feel like it's less interesting now. Like more unique does not automatically mean more interesting. I feel like this is like, I am definitely less interested in this guitar now that it is the way that it is.
You're going to see the pictures rotating through here. The picture that you grabbed here, I think, is actually an SC550.
Because it has the wraparound instead of... Yeah.
But it's the same series. It's the same general body shape.
Yeah, well, I'll grab a couple other photos of a scroll. Like I am seeing this shape in here. This like you would. It looks like a piece of wood that you could mount a deer head or antlers to or something like that. There's a bit of a crest shape to it, but not enough for me to go like, oh, here's an interesting shape. Like, I don't think there's really much interesting going on with this new shape that they found. The pickguard, is that like an acoustic guitar pickguard that they repurposed? Like,
I don't know.
It's got a weird sound hole cut in it. Like, I don't understand why that pickguard. Like, I don't think that was ever part of any original.
It does kind of
scroll.
look like a acoustic pickguard that was recut.
Yeah. Or maybe not even recut. It's just like, we have this, it fits here, so let's put it here. Oh, man, it's such a bummer. It does look like clean work, though, relatively. You know, I think there is a picture of the neck joint. Yeah, here it is right here. And, you know, it looks like clean work. Whoever did it, they made it nice and smooth. It looks like your standard, you know, Gibson quality control here.
Yikes. This is an Epiphone, though.
I know.
70s Epiphone.
It's a 70s Japanese Epiphone, too, which makes this extra sad. I actually, when I first started playing guitar in my first years of being a guitarist, I ran into one of these in like a really unlikely place. It was in a music shop.
Wait, hold on.
I know.
You were in a music shop and you found a guitar?
But it was in Big Bear.
Okay, but you were in a music shop.
No, but it was like, why is there a guitar shop in Big Bear, California, which is like a tiny little ski resort town? There's really no reason for anything other than gas stations and restaurants to be there. And there was this little guitar shop there it felt like just someone's used collection. Like there wasn't a lot in there. And I just walked through and I saw one of these scroll guitars and I was like, whoa, I've never seen anything like that. I'd only seen like 5 different types of electric guitars at this point in my life. So,
whoa, that's not a Stratocaster.
Exactly.
Or a Super Stratocaster.
Or a Les Paul. What is this thing? And I don't remember what they were charging for it, but I always like just kind of wished that I had borrowed money and bought it. You know, I think I was with a church group or something like that. Like in my memory, it was like $200 or $300 or something.
All right, Ryan.
Yeah.
What do you think is the current population of Big Bear Lake, California?
Well, that's tough because it's going to be the surrounding area.
No, that's the city of Big Bear Lake.
Oh, just the city?
Just the city.
We're geography podcasting. Here we go.
Lake.
I am gonna guess. This is people who live there full time, or there's housing for them.
Census population in 2020.
1,500 people.
So I think this number is much lower than I thought it was going to be, but it's significantly higher than what you think it is.
Really?
In 2020, the population was 5,046.
See, I bet they're counting like cabins and stuff that are further away from the lake, and I don't have a good bead on how much is actually around there.
Big Bear Lake is this is really interesting, actually. Big Bear Lake is an incorporated city, so it has defined city limits. But the unincorporated community of Big Bear City has a population, which this is what you're saying, like, well, what's really Big Bear? So the area of Big Bear that's not the direct city of Big Bear Lake has a population of 12,800.
Right, that tracks. Because it gets down the mountain and all these little side roads and stuff like that, and there's just like all these cabins and stuff back there. It's the ski resort that's immediately outside of Los Angeles. So like there's a lot of people in the area. That's not a surprise at all.
32 square mile.
But I'm thinking about the
strip.
The strip and the loop that goes around the lake. Like that can't be 5,000 people.
Apparently it is.
Living there? A lot of those are rentals. All right.
Apparently.
All right.
Apparently.
I guess so. All right. I don't know. What do you think? I thought you were going to drop on me what the current value of an unmolested Epiphone
why would I want to do something like that?
Yeah, something on topic.
Epiphone Scroll.
It's a race.
On Reverb, $872 for a SC350.
This guy wants more?
For this finish, we're looking at $1,500.
Oh, okay.
For a 450. But this guy wants 900.
No.
900 is too much. Why pay 900 when you can get one that is minty, except for the fact that it has, a set of quad rail pickups in it.
Of course.
You can pay 2,300 for that puppy. Good grief. Why would you put quad rails in this?
Are we going to see a nostalgic return to this style of build? Like from your Epiphones or Gibsons, and like a return to that 1970s aesthetic of like the sandwiched woods and stuff like that with the, like the Purple Heart stripes through it and things like that. That is a bit of guitar nostalgia that hasn't been milked in a long time.
Oh, it'll
be interesting to see, like kind of like Carvin was in that space a lot.
This one
in the 90s.
This one that's cheaper. The 350 model is a bolt-on neck, so that might be why it's cheaper.
I have a really tough time because the reason to buy a Scroll is because of the Scroll. Mm-hmm. There's not going to be a lot to influence your purchase other than the Scroll. The shape of it is the thing that you're buying, because otherwise you're going to buy, an LP Junior or something like that.
And because they did this Marauder point in it, like it doesn't even feel like it's an Epiphone anymore. It's just what do they want for this? 900?
I feel like it's got to be closer to 5. I can't.
I think that. Oh, and this is so part of what might be driving the price on this.
Also, what pickups are those? Those aren't original pickups? They can't be.
This is in France.
It's in France?
So
I'm not driving all the way to France to buy this guitar.
So it's actually going to cost you almost $1,100 to have this shipped.
Okay, Steve, you talked me out of it. I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah, sorry. No, I think for $1,000 for a minty one, you're on the high side of like acceptable. But in this shape,
you know what I want?
500, maybe 600, but like you said, the pickups, what the hell is going on here? Those probably aren't original pickups. They're definitely not, right?
Let's mind experiment. Let's build a modern Epiphone Scroll.
Did you look at this? These pickups? It's got Phillips head screws.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
For the pulp,
there's
for the slugs.
They're either some cheap, weird eBay pickup, or there's some like boutique pickup that we just don't know about. No. They're not the original pickup. Let's mind experiment and build a modern Epiphone Scroll reissue. Like we could either go like Epiphone SL, where it's dirt cheap, like it's a budget thing, or we could go into like an $1,100 Epiphone.
I'm thinking $900.
$900.
Either $899 or $999. Put it.
Are you going to do Tune-O-Matic, or are you going to do wraparound?
I'm going to do Tune-O-Matic.
I'm going to zig on that Zag. I'm going to go Tune-O-Matic plus Bigsby. The Scroll plus a Bigsby, that would be a fabulous looking guitar. That would be very, very funky. I think let's talk finishes. Because the natural, obvious. You got to go natural. You have to have a natural option. But what would be some other good finishes? I feel like white, as boring as it sounds.
You got to do natural. You got to do white. I think you got to do.
We need a color.
Possibly worn mahogany. Because one of the original colors was walnut. And then a color.
It's tough. I'm trying to think of like different Gibson-y metallics.
If you want to go classic color for this, it's that like medium blue, that like the Gibson M3s they did.
I don't like that in my head though.
Yeah, because it's not a good color. Here's what I would do real quick on this. I would spec this out as a Epiphone Les Paul Standard, which is a $700 guitar, and basically what you're paying for is the uniqueness of the body. And maybe you do dot inlays, maybe you do. I think you do dot inlays, so maybe you can knock it down to $799.
I want that Bigsby. I
Well, if
want
you-
this one that Bigsby.
Maybe you sell. Well, I don't think you could like sell enough of them to do 2 options. So maybe the Bigsby is what gets you back up to $8.99.
I want it with a Tune-o-matic, and then I can throw a doozy trim on there. You know, or I could do a Vibramate and throw a Bigsby on there.
But you know what? Epiphone has.
You know what would be kind of neat?
What would be kind of neat?
A black sparkle finish. It's black. You get that black scroll look, which is pretty classy. Or like a mahogany, like you were talking about, like a dark furniture mahogany, where like the finish is settled into those German carves a little bit and makes it a little extra dark in there. I kind of feel like it needs a pickguard to break it up a little bit too, but that's a me thing.
What about that like Newport base color, that orange? Could they do that?
Oh
could do
yeah,
that one here.
That would be really wild.
So
that was like that sunset orange or whatever.
Yeah,
That would be
something
crazy.
Was it something coral?
Okay, imagine it bright orange like that with double white humbuckers.
Ooh,
Open coils. I don't know.
you can't do the double white though.
I know.
Legally.
Yeah, I know.
California
Zebras,
coral. That's the zebras would be good.
California coral.
Here's your colors right here. They've got a sunset. You do the same colors as the Newport: sunset yellow, cherry, California coral. The cherry's going to be
Cherry's going to be your classic natural.
That's going to be your natural. And the thing is Epiphone's already kind of set up for this resurgent because they've done the Newports, they've done the amoeba, what do they call it? The Wilshires.
Yeah.
Like they've kind of been rolling this stuff back out. So we need the scroll and maybe one of those like ET. Was it like the ET 270? Maybe something funky like that.
What did that look like?
I think it's the ET 270 I'm thinking of. Are you looking that one up now?
It's a race.
Or is it the 290?
I don't know.
Yeah, this thing.
Oh, that'd be cool.
You bring back this one and the scroll in the same series with similar color options.
Yeah.
The scroll becomes your Tune-o-matic.
That like univoxy thing.
Yep, and the scroll becomes your hardtail, and the ET 270 is you probably can't do this trim because this trim I think is kind of
they could put the Wilshire trim on there.
You could put the Wilshire trim on there.
It wouldn't be totally correct, but they're not going to do that weird like offsetty trim that one has. It would be cool if they redid the hardware for that. Yeah. Now you're getting me excited about Epiphone.
Epiphone. Let us know when you want some
Epiphone. Call us
business development
on your Epiphone. Or send us an Epi email. Steve, you remember which one that was?
No, I just guessed.
All right. I'm feeling like this ad is going to win it unless the next ad really hits it.
Something from I did want to say something from a previous episode real quick. I'll make a note of the time to make my life easier later. Okay.
Yeah.
When you push the button again, it stops.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Steve just wanted to know.
No, I already knew because I tested it earlier.
Right. Okay.
All right. What's new, Ryan?
Ooh, what is new? Jeez. I can't think of anything new right now. I mean, it's hard because we're recording this so far in the past, like 3 weeks before this episode Epiphone's ever going to.
Well, what's new for you
right now in this moment?
In the recording present time?
Man, I'm just living my life. I'm just trying to enjoy the summer. I'm just trying to get every week I'm working towards trying to get like a Friday off.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. I think it's going to happen this week. I think I'm going to the beach this Friday.
Feeling good about it.
We record on Wednesdays. Mm-hmm. I'm geared up to edit the podcast tomorrow and maybe edit something for next week. And then Friday, I think I'm going to be able to take the day off, and then I can say it now because this is going to air so far in the future.
Right.
Monday, Tuesday, I'm working hard on that demo for the Orange amp that I've had here. I don't get to keep it.
Yeah.
I don't get to keep it. Maybe that detail will change as things develop, but probably not. I've been playing around with this orange amp for like 2 months now.
You got a fat stack of boxes.
I know. Well, like when this giant stack of boxes over here and the giant orange amp are gone, in a month or so, that's where the drum kit is going to end up living. You know, and I've got the drum kit here. That's also new. I'm still working on learning the drums.
Didn't we talk about that last week?
Yeah, but one of the big reason for having it is that Henry wants to learn drums. So obviously, so
obviously
over eager dad, like, well, let's get you drums.
You got drums so Henry can learn the drums. And so how many hours a day does he play and how many hours a day do you play?
He actually he treats it like the trampoline. Where he's hanging around, he's watching TV, and he's like, I'm gonna go trampoline, and then he goes trampolines for 10 minutes. Now it's like, now he has another thing, like, I'm gonna go play drums for 10 or 15 minutes, and he'll sit there and
the way to do it.
He'll work on stuff, it's summer vacation. It's an excellent summer vacation thing for him to have this drum kit, just like go over there and hit stuff and get loud and whatever. It's been excellent.
When I was first learning guitar, because people how you must have spent hours and hours playing guitar, but when I was, or how did you find people? How do you find time to do this? Like, I want to learn, but how do you find time? And when I had the most progress in learning, I did probably pick up the guitar every day.
Yeah.
But I would say on an average day, I played like 2 or 3 sessions of 10 to 15 minutes.
Totally.
Yeah. And so I was playing in maybe 45 minutes to an hour a day, but I was like, play it in the morning before I went to school. Play it when I got home from school before I did my homework. Do my homework. Play guitar for 15 minutes. Eat dinner. Play guitar.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, it was never like trying to dedicate an hour.
Sit down and do your piano recital, and that's kind of how I've been treating it too. Like, I sit down, I jam to like a couple songs. Yeah. I jam to a click track. I maybe spend 15, 20 minutes on it, and then I get up and I go do something. Or like my kids are like, let me play. So that's kind of how I've been treating it. But what I was leading to is it's going to end up living in here where all these boxes are. And it might end up becoming like a silent Dinosaur Ghost practice rig in here. Right. Where we can all plug in with headphones and we can practice without bugging neighbors and stuff like that. Right now, we're about to lose our practice space because we've been practicing at my bassist's house, and he's about to do a whole like ADU add-on to his house. Oh. And so the room that we practice in is about to be a construction zone. Gotcha. So we might end up doing Dinosaur Ghost practices in here, which means I can probably film Dinosaur Ghost practices. Yeah. And maybe get some, low effort EP kind of new tracks out into the world or something like that. That'd be some cool. Really low effort little music videos or whatever. That's kind of my hope. We'll see what actually happens though. What's new with you, Steve?
Oh yeah. What's new with me? I have 2 new pedals at home. I haven't had a chance to mess around with them yet. I've been doing some other stuff. But I picked up the David Ross Instruments Spellbook, I think is the name of the pedal. I honestly don't even offhand know what it is.
What is it?
It's spellbinding. It's mesmerizing. I don't know. I should probably find out.
Sounds like you should probably figure out what you bought, Steve.
But David Ross is one of the guys in the community in the gear community, and he's got another pedal I think called the Winter Storm. I think is the name of that pedal. And so he did this, and because he already had one product out, I felt comfortable supporting his Kickstarter to get this second pedal out. And then the other one I picked up is the Greer Super Hornet.
Oh,
which
awesome.
Is their Fox Tone Machine
style
pedal.
You always got to have another Fox Tone machine around.
So now I own 3 Fox Tone machines. And I own 4 rats. There's like a very animal theme in the pedals.
You got a real zoo.
Yeah.
I own... I think I own at least 2 Fox Tone Machine pedals. I've got the Tysco and I've got the Foxy Box from Warm Audio. I thought I had a third. That's a fun fuzz circuit though. Like I love the Fox Tone Machine circuit. It's just such a nasty octave fuzz. And Greer, if you've been on top of the group or other places where people talk about gear stuff, Greer needs our support right now. So if you've been window shopping a Greer pedal, whatever they make, whatever you want to buy from them, a t-shirt, a sticker, whatever they've got in their shop, now would be a good time. Go check it out. Maybe things are better now, but they were going through some family stuff where they could use some support. So go look up that information.
The Spellbook is described as a self-oscillating fuzz and distortion pedal that can also be used as a standalone synthesizer.
Okay. All right.
I think I need to plug this in because
you need to plug this in, Steve.
Because I'm working
All
on
right. Steve,
a home music project.
This is going to sound crazy. I think you should try the pedal that you bought.
Yeah, me too.
You paid money for this thing. I think you should go crazy and plug it in.
Wow.
See what it sounds like.
So anyway, that's what I got. That's it.
All right. Do we want to tackle the topic?
I think we need to do this last sponsor spot.
All right.
And with the topic, this episode is also brought to y'all by Chase Bliss. This is the Mood Mark II. Why just be in a mood when you can be in a Mood Mark II?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Like, if you're going to be in a mood, might as well be in a good mood with the Mood Mark II. Yeah. Or in a really, 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 like, fundamentally healthy, in an upsetting way, bad mood. You know, sometimes it's good to be in a bad mood. I'm just saying. And maybe the Mood Mark II can get you in that good, bad mood.
I don't know what that means.
Something to think about. I have no idea what any of that meant. I'm sorry. All right. So Craig Straub, on our topic call out on the group, he posted a picture of an Epiphone Valve Junior, which is a one knob, one switch, one input amplifier. And all he said was simple amps. So let's talk about simple amps. Where is the line for you, Steve? Where is a line in between an amp that is simple and you like it, and it's too simple and no thank you? Because I personally feel like a one knob amp is too simple.
I'm just going to go out here and I'm looking around your room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're looking around here. We got our eyes looking around at things. Yeah. Let's see what we see here.
As much as I love the control layout on the Princetons, I'm gonna just go ahead and say this.
Say it, Steve. Lay it on me.
Okay, you have one simple amp in this room.
I only have one simple amp?
You only have one.
Well, I do have that little Wangs in a box up there somewhere, which is a two knob amp.
Yeah.
Two knobs, volume and tone.
I'm going to say your simple amp, you have the acoustic 150B over here.
Volume, treble, bass.
I guess there is a bright switch.
That's
pretty simple.
That is pretty simple. But it's big. And
but
it's
then
got
I guess like I'm saying the
two channels on it.
The Princeton's not simple, and all it has different is the reverbs and vibrato circuit. So maybe that's not fair of me.
But also the Imperial, the guts of it. Like if you're on the lead channel, that's three knobs.
I don't even understand what's going on with that amp. Like I guess like with the Prince, my idea of like simple amp is, can I just plug into it and start playing right away and it's gonna sound good?
I'm thinking, simple amps. I'm thinking like a Champ is a simple amp.
Oh, a Champ is definitely a simple amp.
I'm thinking like a Princeton, not a Princeton Reverb is a simple amp.
Right.
Just volume, bass, treble. Mm-hmm. You know, do those have a trim? They might have a trim section.
I'm not sure. Let's find out.
Okay, let's reframe this. What do you personally need in an amp? Where it's like, I would not want an amp with less than this if it's going to be a serious amp in my life. We all have these little like fun amps that we acquire over the years that have two knobs or whatever. But I'm talking like an amp that you intentionally have in your life as a practicing, maybe gigging, maybe recording amp. What are the basics? What are the most simple features that you require and desire?
The Princeton does have the vibrato circuit.
Okay, all right. Then it's not simple.
That's not a simple vibrato trem. It's vibrato. They call it vibrato, but it's trem, right?
Yeah, it's trem. It's a volume modulation. It's not a pitch modulation.
I need volume. I would say I need volume.
You don't want to just have a switch that goes on full power.
Yeah, so what I have right now at home is the Satellite Gamatron volume tone. I've been very happy with that amp.
You're happy with that?
Very happy with that.
I feel like I need more.
You need more. What else do you need?
I'll use a simple amp like that. I've had simple amps like that.
Mm-hmm.
I need more tone control. I don't necessarily need reverb. It is nice to have, but a lot of my reverb sounds come from external units. So it's like, whatever, but I feel like I need a volume, obviously.
Okay.
It is nice to be able to dial in some gain and have a master volume. So pre-volume and a master volume. I like being able to dial in some dirt and having the volume at a reasonable level.
Just get a smaller amp.
I'm not a simple man when it comes to amps. I like to have at least 2 band EQs. So there's 4 knobs right there.
So you were saying you want volume, gain,
2 tone controls,
treble and bass.
Yeah.
Presume in a simple circuit, treble and
these
bass.
are just controls. Like,
what if your tone controls, what if you had volume?
What's your...
Hold on, volume,
okay,
gain, a mids knob, and a mids frequency knob.
Now that's getting too complicated, Steve. Might as well give me like a 6 band EQ, Give me the sliders.
Volume, gain, 7 band EQ. That's how some of the acoustic 370 I think was basically like that.
Yeah. And weren't there Carvin amps like that or PV amps like that?
Their Carvin had some amps with the sliders. Yeah.
Didn't Mesa have a couple of sliders?
Yes.
Yes.
The early versions of the Mark, I think they eventually moved away from them, but I'm
Mark
pretty
4s
sure
or something?
early, I'm thinking the Mark II would have had it, and maybe the Mark III.
Let's talk about some other features, like minimum controls. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I probably could get away with a volume and a tone. And no, I like having at least 2 tones. I want bass and treble control. Right. I just do. And just assume that the mids are sitting there at a certain point and I can boost the mids by pulling back the other 2.
Here's something I'll say is an amp, I think, needs to have the right number of features for what it does. One of my complaints, I used to own a Fender Hot Rod Deluxe years ago, right? And
now you just lease.
Now, and one of my complaints with that amp is it's designed to be a 3-channel amp. It's clean drive and more drive, whatever. And one of the issues that amp has, and I don't know if any of yours have this problem, it looks like none of these ones do, is it's a multi-channel amp with shared EQ. And so what I often found is that
each channel uses the same EQ,
right?
Which is a problem because your clean EQ is going to be drastically different from your hyper dirty EQ.
Yeah, that was a problem that I had. I always felt like when you went into, I mean, this is going to almost sound sacrilegious. Maybe I would approach it differently with my 2023 ears.
Right, send your letters to Steve, not me.
With my 2005 ears, but. I always felt like if I dialed in the mids the way that I wanted for the clean channel, the drive channel sounded scooped. But if I dialed in the mids the way that I wanted for the drive channel, then the clean channel was like boomy.
Yeah, you have to choose which one are you going to use.
So what I ended up doing on that amp that worked really well, but it's annoying, is I used to have the now it's True Tone, Jekyll and Hyde, and I would use the Tube Screamer side with the gain turned all the way down just to get the mid bump from that Tube Screamer circuit.
Right.
And I would use that on the drive. And so anytime I engaged the drive, I would hit the Tube Screamer and the drive switch, which is kind of annoying to have to do. It sounded good in that setup, but I
think this is why I like working with just a really simple clean amp and then using pedals, because I'll dial in the pedals to work with my clean signal.
Right.
And then when I take out the pedals, the dirt pedals, then I'm left with my ideal clean sound.
Yeah.
And so I'm adding in the gain into a good clean sound. And when I want the clean sound, it's there waiting for me. And I'm not having to play this back and forth with the EQ on the amplifier and stuff. I think maybe that's where my trauma comes from. That prevents me from wanting to use amp distortion. Right. But something I wanted to circle back to, because we're talking about minimum amount of knobs. Sounds like you and I would both be happy with like 3 or 4 knobs. There's some other minimum requirements. I feel like for me, like a 10-inch speaker is the minimum. Like I've played amps that have 8-inch speakers and they can be fine, but I feel like I get the most out of a 10-inch speaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually prefer 10 inches over 12 a lot of time. 12 just is too big.
Too big.
It's uncomfortable, you know? No. And then also wattage. What is your minimum wattage?
I don't think that has to do with whether an amp is simple or not, though.
I think it does.
Wattage? My minimum wattage is 2.8 watts because that's what the amp I have at home.
Right. This is like, I mean, the Wangs that I have is a 1 watt amp, I think.
Yeah. I think, well, I used to use the Wangs Mini 5, the Wangs Mini 5.
I prefer Wangs.
And I think that one is 5 watts or 1 watt. I think there's a
right. Because you've got to attenuate your 5 watt amplifier.
So, you know, that goes back to, well, I mean, part of that is the whole conversation about,
I personally feel like somewhere around like it's got to be over 10. I feel like 10 watts is the minimum for me. And there's just something about the tonal characteristics of like super low wattage amps that I just don't get along with, like 5 watt, 1 watt, 7 watt, sometimes 4 watt amps. I don't know if any of those wattages exist in amplifiers, but the sub 10 watt amps, there's not headroom.
The Wangs I have is only 5. I'm thinking of the custom amp that I have.
Right.
That is either 15 or 4.
Like it's not about volume. It's not about where it starts to break up. It's about headroom for me.
Yeah.
And you lose, like, they become very focused and like tin can nasal in a way, but not necessarily nasal. But you know what I mean? Like the EQ range of it and the volume range of the EQ is very, very focused in these low wattage amps, which is great. Like a lot of people use that to great effect to get a very focused, very specific sound. But I like to have my amp breathe a little bit more. I want to feel some bottom end. I want some clean bottom end. I want some mids that can push into getting a little bit saturated and gritty. And I want highs that sparkle and pierce.
So what is the number that you're thinking of for this?
I mean, the Princetons feel like that's kind of
12 watts.
12 watts is kind of
12 watts.
Where it is, you know, like everything I've played around with that's under around that area, like it just starts to get that character where I'm like, I can't get the range that I want out of this.
I'll say that as far as church playing goes, the smallest amp I've used, I used to use that custom on the 4 watt setting. But again, that's like a close mic
it's different
where you're
when
not
it's a 4
driving.
watt setting though, because you have the ability to pump up.
No, I know, but I'm saying like so I'm saying like I think I could use the Gammatron in a mic'd church setting to great avail. But as far as like a club setting goes, I really think the perfect club amp for what I would probably doing in the kinds of bands that I would probably be playing in, the amp that I would probably go towards would be some kind of deluxe reverb.
Sure.
So, which is, you know, a 20 watt, 22 watt amp.
I mean, that's essentially what the Imperial is. Yeah.
So I think I would probably be looking, I mean, again, like I used to play the Hot Rod DeVille out, but I guess with the,
I had a deluxe reverb and I sold it because I liked the Princeton better. I should have kept it just
in case,
just to keep it. I got a good price on it and I did make like $200 when I sold it.
Nice.
But if I'd kept it, then I could make like $600 now.
Oh my gosh. Thinking about like,
but it would have been a good like benchmark amp to have. I didn't have a YouTube channel yet. So, you know, that's why.
Thinking about like amps that I played live, like guitar amps. Obviously I talked about the Hot Rod Deluxe. I used to play a Fender Princeton Chorus, which is a 2x25, but this also gets into that whole like solid state versus tube. I used to play an acoustic 150 in the morning class. I played an acoustic 150.
Yeah.
And that thing, you know, is 110 watts.
I've been using it for my like post-punk,
Yeah.
like gothy sort of band. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've had it up past like 2 on the dial.
Why
you know?
would you?
It's a beast.
Yeah.
Like just the loudest amp ever.
I used that, and I had that award session. That's an amp that's like a little complicated.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a very boxy. So that, to what you're saying with the boxy and the wattage limitation, sometimes that is a design thing. Cause I always felt like that amp sound was very kind of boxy, like very beamy in terms of the way it threw the speaker. That's actually why, cause I used that amp off and on with the Morning Glass, and I felt like it was so loud. But if you weren't right in the area that you were,
it was a laser. Yeah.
Like you couldn't hear it, like worse than the Hot Rod Deluxe, because again, it's a compact cabinet, 75 watts, very loud 75 watts, a little complicated, but, yeah, I just, again, like there's, I
don't think I like simple amps. Like there's like an amp with 1 knob and 1 input.
Right.
No, I can't. 2 knobs. I'm going to look at it with a side eye. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. Like, I feel like I'm a 3 knob minimum guy. It doesn't have to have reverb. It doesn't have to have tremolo. I do like those things, but it doesn't have to have them.
Right.
I'd prefer to have a master volume and a pre-volume. So 4 knobs really feels the most comfortable to me.
Have you ever played, or have you ever spent much time on a high output 2 knob amp?
Can you think of an example?
I want to say,
because that would be interesting. I still feel like having EQ control is pretty important to me. Like controls over the highs and the lows. Like,
right. I'm saying maybe something like, the Satellite Neutron. How much power? That's an 18 watt 2 knob job. Volume and tone.
Man,
head.
Those things ain't cheap, are they?
$1,550.
Yeah, for a head, for a 2 knob head.
Or this was actually the first one I thought about, because I think this is a 36 watt volume and tone, the Satellite Atom. I think that's the amp that, I could be super wrong, but I think the Satellite Atom is what Presidents was using.
Yeah, I think so.
Saw them.
Yeah.
Years ago. I think it was those.
I don't know.
Are all the Satellite amps? Not all of them are 2 knobs. Some of them are 3 knobs.
I think I'm putting my foot down. I'm a 3 knobs minimum guy. 4 knobs is ideal, and everything after that is gravy.
Let's see. What 3 knobs does this Satellite have? Volume, bass, and treble.
There we go.
Can you do that?
If it can give me a good clean signal, then I'm probably fine with it. You know.
Wasn't the Earthquaker amp that they had, wasn't that like 1 knob and like 50 watts or something?
Probably. I forget what that was called. Oh man, that was ridiculous.
It's called the Sound Projector. Oh no, it was 3 knobs.
Oh, okay. I could do it then. But it's still like this giant head with like 3 little knobs.
It's a 25 watt linear Class A tube amp. I'm trying to see if it says what the knobs are.
I mean, I would be very happy to have. I don't need complicated amps, but if you want to complicate any part of the amp, have it be the EQ section. Like I would be all for an amp that is pre-volume, 10 band slider EQ in the middle, then master volume. Like in my head, that sounds like a great amp.
See,
like, I don't need send and returns because I just run everything into the front of it. I just need control over whether it's clean or it's dirty, and the EQ.
I think the EQ is where, like, the more EQ options I have, the less I want to own the amp.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think there's.
I think 3.
If you get into concentric knobs, then I'm just kind of like, and also like if you get into like the big metal heads that have like 4 channels and each channel has 8 knobs or whatever, then I just look at it and like scratch my head like, I don't know.
Put in a freaking
in a single channel
EQ.
In a single channel amp.
Even with as soon as you hit graphic EQ, like so I'll say like where it's probably just a matter of the fact that I haven't really owned one long enough to deal with it, whether a pedal format or a guitar amp head or whatever, is the whole, like, you got a, like I said before, like you got a mids knob and a mids frequency knob. A lot of the Fender stuff, they have the presence knob. So it's like, okay, so now you've got one EQ section, and then you've got this like post effects loop presence knob to fiddle around with. And I just, volume, bass, treble, or treble, middle, bass. More than that, I don't know. Like I've had ones that were like mid. Remember that? So one of the reasons I moved away from it, one of several reasons. Remember I had that acoustic B3 for a minute, that 300 watt acoustic head for bass. Yeah, I had that thing, and it sounded really big. And I don't know that I ever really dialed in.
Forgot about that.
I don't know that I ever really dialed in a tone I was totally happy with for multiple reasons. It had a limiter built into it.
Yeah, it was overkill.
It had all this. I had all of the bells and whistles that like 80s guitar or 80s bass amps were starting to put into things. And I always felt like, you know, there's so many controls here. I should be able to dial in, you know, the right mids and do the right bass cut and everything else to make this thing sound like a louder version, because that's what I needed, of the acoustic 150, because it's 300 watts versus 110 watts. So I should be able to get this, and it had drive on it. It had, had a gain knob. So I should be able to, I wanted to mimic the drive that I could get, that just mid burn tone of the acoustic 150 on bass. And after owning that thing for a while, also it weighed like 55 pounds. Like it was a head. I had that, and at the same time I had a neodymium 15-inch cab, and the head weighed more than the cab.
I've got a head here that I'm not ready to talk about on the channel yet, but I'm going to show it to you when we're done recording. It's a ridiculous heavy beast.
What?
Yeah, and it's like we'll have a whole conversation tonight. It's got so many.
How do I not
different
know about
tonal controls on it? You know about it. I'm not going to say what it is right now. All right, so let's move on. So we've done this to death. Yeah, let's do the last ad in the song.
All I'm going to say to end that is, after a few months, I went back to the 150, and I was like, this is fucking home.
Right.
Like, crank.
Yeah.
Turn.
Oh, I love the 150. I wish that
Guitar Center wasn't ruining the good name of acoustic control.
I wish that Quilter could buy acoustic.
Oh, I know.
I wish they could make a little Quilter style head with the acoustic aesthetics, but it's this big and it's 3 knobs, you know?
Yeah. I mean, people have tried to take the 360 circuit and make it in, like, because the 360 is a preamp.
Right.
Running into a powered 2x15, I think, or I don't remember what the amp of the 361 is. But no one's been in a position to mass produce that. And Quilter is 100% probably the best company to do it that I'm aware of, that could mass market it, right? Right. And it's
they're a company that is doing loud, solid state, clean amps justice. They are doing the thing. They are making that solid state, like, ideal sort of sound that people who are solid state guitar amp nerds are into. Like, Quilters are like for how traditional surf rock appears on the outside. Quilters are a big deal in the surf rock community right now. Like,
I believe it.
They are like a go-to for a lot of traveling bands, because the amp can be that big, and then you can just bring it and plug into a backline speaker if you want to, or you can cart around a cab, but you don't have to bring a head. You don't have to worry about tubes and stuff. And for surf rock, you just need to be clean anyways.
Real quick, this should have been the topic. Do you think that is driven? So in my head, the average
in your head.
I know. This was going to be quick. When I think about it, and maybe I'm all wrong.
Yeah.
But when I picture like the average Tiki Oasis band it's mostly dudes in like their 50s or older. So is that, first of all, is that wrong?
No, I wouldn't say that's wrong.
Okay. So my thought is like those guys are probably looking for something that's good enough and lightweight, which is where
There's like
quilter comes in.
There's like two schools.
Yeah.
There's the school of the people who are like very, very proud of their pristine vintage dual Showmans.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they have to cart them around in cases and stuff like that. And then there's people that just do the quilter and like some ratty 2x12.
Yeah.
You know, and then they have a Surfy Bear on the floor instead of having, you know, the whole dual Showman with matching Fender 6G15.
So then my thought is I wonder how much of the general surf culture is being driven by that 50% that's like out there doing gigs with this very modern stuff. Because that's how everything's driven, really, kind of in this business, I think.
I mean, the surfer jets, I admire the way that they tour and gig. They just work out backline for everything, and they just each have their own guitar, and they have a little pedal board, and they just fly.
Oh, that's cool.
They just fly. They just
backline it.
They're just backline everything. Borrow other band stuff, borrow drums and things like that. They're like,
cool.
They want to tour around all over the States and Canada, and they go to. I think they've been to Europe and stuff like that. They've figured it out. They've figured out how to travel light and still have their signature sound and look. And you can do it in a surf band because it's all clean amps. You know, you don't have to have a super high character, high personality amp.
All right, Ryan. One more thing.
All right.
This is a custom-made, hand-carved bass.
Good transition.
Top of the line, electronics, Geezer, Butler's pickups, hand-carved and professionally wired, custom Fender, jazz bass. This bass is one of a kind. This bass was made with the tone in mind, 100% Geezer Butler EMG pickups. I'm asking $4,000 OBO, and it's worth it all day. I will take the best offer that is reasonable. In other words, make a reasonable offer. So I'll break it down. Neck, $250.
This is my favorite
Body.
part. Hold on. This is my favorite part that this person is doing the math on why it's worth $4,000.
Neck, $250. Body, $250. Pickups, $275. Guts, $100. Skull volume EQ knobs, $100. $200 carving. A bridge, $200.
Hold on. All that so far, let's add that up. 500,
775, 875, 975, 1175.
1175 for just the parts, right?
Yep.
Now for carving, he's tacking on $1,500. Does that even add up? 1175
plus 1,500 is
no, that doesn't add up.
Does not add up.
The rest is for him. Like that's his commission.
Carving by Edwal Audion, an amazing artist who's been carving wooden pieces for many years, a man who had his own wood carving profession in India, and K. Robin Guitars wired the bass and set it up. Also, I spent hours and hours staining and sanding and finishing it.
So the guy who carved it didn't even stain and finish it. Like this isn't a completed piece by the carver then. Then that's why so much of this looks so rough. Oh my gosh, come on, dude. And I don't want to, this carver might be like a famous wood carver, but in this piece, I don't see it. I don't see why. Like it looks like it's folk arty, you know, there's not really, I was going to say there's not consistency, but there is. There's also metal spikes around the edge of this. I don't know if you caught that.
Googled this guy's name, now there's so much chaos happening in here, but when I Googled this guy's name, all I get is a website that's clearly like not a real website with the title 92543 Women Seeking Men.
Okay. Yeah. This carver's not on the map then. And you can't charge $1,500 for a carving that isn't, I don't know, but I'm not getting the sense that it's a notable carver. Also, like it looks weird and bad and not good. Like there's a skeleton with, are those leg bones or are those arm bones? Like it's like there doesn't really seem to be a reason why those bones are there. they're not connected
there's like
to
a
anything.
random spider, some other random.
Yeah, and then there's like, like the booths at the county fair that sell random polished stones.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 random polished stones epoxied or glued to parts of the bones for some reason. And all of this just feels like no rhyme or reason. And I get the sense that the staining was done without any good consideration of the art, because he didn't stain this swoop here that there's 3 stars on. And I see there's other swoops that did get stained over. The staining around the spider is weird. Mm-hmm. The Hot Topic metal spikes around the edge, which are hard to see in the photos, but they are there, is dumb. The skull knobs are dumb too.
I did find a website for an Edward Adian wood carving. I cannot tell because it's a very kind of
I mean, who knows?
Generic, I would say.
The carver might be like a legit celebrity wood carver, and I just don't know, and I'm not understanding the style. But like this guy's price is absolutely ridiculous without providing any sort of actual history or provenance for what's going on here. $4,000, absolutely not. $1,500 for the carving, no way. Adding up the rest of the parts, you've mangled the body. Like unless you can prove that carving is actually worth that that there is a market for it. It's not that it's worth it. Is anyone interested in this? Like, the math does not check out. It's a Mexican bass neck. It's a mangled body. It's EMGs, which I'm sure are a just totally fine set of EMG pickups in here. The bridge hardware looks fine. It looks great. But I can't imagine paying more than $300, $400 for this.
Yeah.
And you'd have to look at it and be like, yeah, this fits my look. I'm going to have to scrape off those rocks, and I'm going to take off the metal spikes and stuff like that. I just want the skull kind of themed bass. I could get that. I could wrap my head around that. But for $4,000 is absolutely absurd. Unless someone wants to inform me otherwise. I've been wrong before.
So this is tricky. I think that is the guy, Edward Adivan. I'm not going to link because the website's kind of dead.
Does he carve guitars?
He carves, his website has animal carvings, gun stocks, furniture, signs, and miscellaneous. When I look at miscellaneous, I don't see any guitars. He does do some serious stuff. He
carves logs into eagles, and stuff.
This seems like someone who's like maybe known in this specific part of New York. So it's kind of like goes back to like, I'm sure if you were really into it and you went to the Del Mar Fair every year to look at like the home build guitars, you could be like, oh man, I can't wait to see what so-and-so did for the fair this year.
I get the sense that this guy is like a rustic chainsaw carver type guy.
Yeah.
It looks like he carved this one like to the side as he was eating his sandwich.
This doesn't look.
It doesn't look like. It looks like a test.
Right.
Like someone handed him a guitar body and he was like, oh, I'll give it a shot. I'll doodle a little bit here. I don't know. I don't think carving guitars is for me. I like a bigger piece of wood to work with. And then they handed it to someone and they put it together. Like that's the sense I'm getting. Watch, this is going to get back. I always feel bad critiquing, like hand done carvings and art and things like that. It might end like someone might tag the artist or something. They're going to show up and defend themselves, or they're going to feel, I don't want them to feel bad. But I don't think this is good, and I'm sorry. So
yeah, I don't know what I mean. Maybe this was like the request of the guy. Who knows?
To be bad?
No, to just like this general concept here.
Like one of the photos on his site was carving a great big detailed eagle.
Yeah.
Someone who can do that didn't spend any real time on this.
Right.
This is a sketch.
Well, and then that kind of like begs the question of like, is this like something where the guy just like begged him to do it.
It might not even be really him. The guy selling this might be a liar.
Right.
You know, he might have just like, oh, I know about this woodworker who comes and sets up a booth at the farmer's market, so it must be him because I'm local or whatever, so I'll just say it's him. I talked to him one time.
He did like this.
Yeah, look at that.
Like, this is pretty cool.
The super high detailed stuff. Like the guy who spent time working on that didn't spend any time working on this.
And honestly, and so
he knew this was not his best work.
He did like a presidential seal. That's like pretty. Pretty cool.
It might as well be farted out by a CNC machine. It looks so clean, you know.
And so maybe he does like the
You're gonna
giant
have to send
bears.
me a link.
I know.
You're gonna have to send me a link to this site now. Yeah.
This is his.
So I can put up pictures.
This is his Facebook page.
Well, tag me.
Copy link.
Tag everyone, and I'll be there.
Tag everyone. What I was gonna say about it is, I mean, he's got like a public artist page, so it's meant to be browsed.
All right, Steve, this episode's gone so long.
Oh God,
Let's vote. I'm gonna vote for this. I'm gonna vote for the bass. Let me look at what else we did. We did
I really wanted to vote for the Epiphone.
We had some good ads this one. You guys have been doing great sending us ads. Like I'm like 400 behind because you send in more than we can use, but I've been trying to get picky and be like, let's get to the real good ones. So I've been skipping a lot. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to get caught up by skipping more and get to the good ones. There's been some good ones. You guys, like us funding like a winner every week is drastically improving the quality of the show. Like we should have done this from the beginning.
We didn't have
$25 every week
funded to do it from the beginning. So
again,
thank you to Patreons.
Patreons are heroes as far as I'm concerned. Thank a Patreon. Thank you for your service, Patreons.
Oh my gosh.
If you see someone going around town claiming to be a Patreon, but you know they've never actually like Patreonized anyone, that's stolen valor. And that's serious. All right. This is hard, Steve. I'm in between the Epiphone and the bass. Convince me. Why the Epiphone? Because it's so bad? You're right. It's the Epiphone. The Epiphone won.
No, hold on. I gotta look. K. Robin Guitar is a store.
That's who's selling this bass.
I just want to look at
this. This better pay off, Steve.
K. Robin Guitar says me. No, I just wanted to look up this store and see. This feels like, because in the thing he said, it was wired at K. Robin Guitar, which is the equivalent of me saying like, this was wired at like,
sure,
top or Guitar Trader or something.
Any tech can wire a guitar.
It's like, it's not like as far as I can tell, it's not like a famous.
I can't even think of a premium guitar wiring. Like Gun Street is awesome, but you don't send them your guitar. They send you harnesses.
I think if you were to, I think if you said like, this was wired by like someone who's known from the Fender Custom Shop or something,
or like the touring tech for
this was
Boston or
this
something.
was wired at Manny's Music. Does Manny's Music still exist? I don't know.
Sure.
But that
like a notable shop, if someone was like, this was rewired by Norms
here's
guitars or whatever.
So both the Epiphone and the
I'm going for the Epiphone
and
now.
The bass. I'm going to stay with the Epiphone. The reason I couldn't feel good about the bass is because I feel like it was just very negative.
Yeah.
The Epiphone was also very negative, but at the end we put a spin on it and we said, you know what, Epiphone, you should bring back the scroll.
Yeah.
And we basically laid out an entire business plan where in the next 5 years, if Epiphone comes out with the scroll, they legitimately should probably be paying us. They won't be.
No, we should.
They're going to steal this idea.
They should at least give us one each.
Sure.
Epiphone, Gibson, if you got wind of this episode, us talking about the scroll Epiphone, and you're like, hey, that's a good idea, and you know if it was already in works and this just is a coincidence, in that case, I understand it. But if you legitimately got the idea to bring back the scroll Epiphone because of this episode, do what's right.
Yeah.
Do what's right is all I'm saying. And I'm not saying shower us with money and gifts. We would accept them, but at least put a scroll in each of our hands, and we'll gladly hold them up and be like, it's amazing, they did it. We love this so much. Like, that would be the bare minimum. Epiphone and Gibson.
We should have picked a different one because I still can't.
I'm scolding them for stealing an idea from us, and the idea is literally them making their own guitar.
We did not say that the hand-carved bass was sent by Chris Fasanella. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Close. You got the spirit. It was just like, we just went so negative on it. I couldn't feel good about it.
It was a really good ad, but the other ad was a gooder ad. And it came with its A game. It was ready to play, and it had a lot of conceptual energy behind it. So, yeah.
I'm going to change the pronunciation. This time I'm going to say that the Epiphone Scroll was sent by Kishti in Shetty. That's how I'm going to pronounce your name.
Sure.
It's probably wrong.
Did we get close?
Probably not. But this week's song was sent by Rachel Hoots, who says, I think you guys need more saxophone on the podcast.
Ooh, do I ever? Bring it.
Don't worry, though. There's plenty of guitar on here. Oh, that's a bummer.
Oh, no.
Hope you enjoy.
I hope so, too.
Let's download. I should have downloaded it earlier.
I was going quick. Here we go. Any moment now, we're going to have this song in our beautiful little ears.
Here we go. Here we go.
was a delightful
Yeah, that's great.
little jam to end our podcast recording session on. It's so upbeat, feels positive, but also has a bit of a serious vibe to it too.
Yeah, thanks, Rachel.
Nice mix of emotions there in that
It
little
felt
ska
it's
jam.
like I was gonna say it's like a slowed down little ska. It feels like a lot of ska albums. They always had like an instrumental track in them. This felt like that instrumental track on a good ska album.
Gosh, I missed cracking the cellophane on a brand new ska CD.
Yeah.
And like finding out there's an instrumental in there. Jeez, Steve.
Dang.
Just unlocked some nostalgia. Ooh.
You're
All right.
welcome.
Bye, everybody.
Stay grounded.